Welcome to the Rookie Lap. We were actually in person this time for the race in Atlanta. Had a pretty good time, even met a famous NASCAR driver. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and drive on into it.
Rolling, green. The rookie lap is green. All clear. Go get them. No rookie moves. Yeah, so first we want to give a big shout out to Kenny Wallace. Met him right after the Trackside Live show before the race. He came up, actually knocked a couple people out of the way to come see me, so I really appreciated that, and him taking probably about 5 minutes to spend time with me and talk to me. And actually he mentioned something about having us get him on here at some point, so maybe we can get him on for a pod or a interview or something like that. But that was just a real cool experience. Kenny's one of the most popular, energetic guys that NASCAR's ever had, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, so that was real cool. But we also had a very, very crazy race, and let's go ahead and get on into that.
Was it crazy? Did they wreck or something? I must have missed that part.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that.
They wrecked. They definitely wrecked.
I'm glad I was there.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's one of the races that is definitely better to have seen in person than on television. I don't believe you could catch what was in that all that was going on in that race by watching that one on television.
No, I've been to 3 races this year, and I've gotten very lucky with one being at Charlotte and one being here, and I don't know how I'm going to top this one, but
that'll be hard to do.
More. Yeah, that's crazy. But so we want to start with, I don't know, where y'all want to start at? It was so much to cover.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's ask this question right off the rip. I'll start with Connor. Do you think that's the best race that they've ever had in Atlanta, as long as you've been watching racing? And I've been watching them back into the at least 80s or late 70s.
Well, you know me. I've been on and off with it for several years. I've watched it a good amount of time, when I was younger, and I stopped for a while, was on and off, and I've only really gotten back into it the past couple of years, 3 years or something. So out of the past few years that I've seen it, especially in this next-gen car, it's one of the best, but I don't know if it was the best.
I'm talking specifically at Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because I think that I don't know if I can call it the best. I think after that big old wreck it was, because all your big guys got out, which that's a point we'll come into later, I'm sure. Yeah. But I think it got a lot more competitive in there for all those other people that were just itching for a win. But I thought that the one we went to in February was probably the best one I've seen there in person. They're tied for me pretty much in the way that it is, because I really enjoyed that one in February. And I also very enjoyed this one Saturday. It also helped because we set at a completely different part of the track than we did when we went in February. And I'm going to put some pictures up of it on the video. But, you could see the whole track and everything. It was just it's a great experience. But I don't know. I think they're tied for me.
Okay. What about you, Austin?
Yeah, I think it has to definitely be top 2, if not the best, because of how much the field just got flipped upside down, and you only had one previous winner of the season on the lead lap at the end. And so there was 20 guys that have not won this year on the lead lap, wanting to win, needing to win, trying to get into the playoffs. Yeah, that normally they don't. Just at least most of them don't. And so I think that created a lot of good, really hard racing, because these guys don't get to do this every week, and this was their one shot to make some of their dreams come true. Some of the guys have never even won a race, so
yeah,
it was not much more you could ask out of them. And I think the fans agree this was the second highest Atlanta race on the good race polls, behind the 3-wide finish last year. So
yeah, and that was to me this is the best race, and the reason I'm going to say that is because as we were watching the first race, and you had the good guys, the Fords were up front, they were dominant, they owned the race, they controlled the race. I was sitting there watching, and I don't remember if I said it to y'all, but I said it to somebody. I said, I wish they would invert this race. And that's about what happened. They
Yeah.
just about inverted it and took the guys back there that really didn't have a good shot, that had an outside chance, and they put them up there and let them race. And by God, when they let them race, I haven't. Back through the field, they were passing, inside moves, outside moves, get a run on somebody. Somebody jumped by 2 or 3 cars, passing for the lead. Heck, they were passing for the lead sometimes 2 or 3 times in one lap.
Yeah.
It was special to me, and maybe it's because we were there and I could see so much more of it. But to me, that's probably the best racing. I've been to a dozen or more Atlanta races.
Yeah, I don't think this one will be a prisoner of the moment thing. I think this one will stay as one of the best. And they had 46 lead changes just at the line. And
probably that many more not at the line.
yeah. And I'm I'm blanking out.
Oh, okay. Well, I just like I said, to me, it was just pure excitement. Once they got the Fords running out, I think the only good Ford that was really left up there was Kozlowski, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the rest of them, they were out of it. So it was a different outlook of the race, not something you get to see all the time when you're there. And even on television, I unfortunately, it didn't record for me, so I didn't go back and rewatch it. If they show it again later, I will. But it was really good to me.
Yeah, the Fords actually had the top 8 starting spots, which is they did it at Atlanta 2 years ago.
Yeah, and what do they do when they get out front and they're able to do that? They control the race. They're able to stay up there and make moves and keep each other blocked behind them and just kind of hold themselves in line. And nobody back there really has a chance unless a good pit strategy happens or something.
But it wasn't a Ford that won the race, though.
Other than Hoskovar, because it started a race, buddy. He said, I'm going to put on a show
Yeah.
for you boys, and he did.
He came from 30th to the top 5 in no
Yeah,
time.
he didn't care what kind of car they were in. He's coming by them. But then I guess after the wreck, he just didn't have what he did earlier.
He must have pulled that thing in movies. You know, you ever see the movies how they just downshift all the time and it just gives them the biggest boost in the world?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he must have done.
That's the biggest crock of crap. Going down the straightaway at Daytona, downshifting and up.
I see it all the time. I'm like, you got 10 gears in that gearbox.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where you're getting them from.
Yeah. No, that's not the way it works.
Well,
No.
Speaking of after the wreck, it came back to me with all the passing and going by 2 or 3 cars. I just listened to Denny's show, and he actually says he thinks that big wreck with taking out so many good guys, it created the gap between cars that's never there anymore, and that gave space to like the old days that we don't get to see. And I think he's right. I think that's really what made it one of the
Yeah, I hadn't
old
thought
days.
about it from that viewpoint, but it does make sense if you got less people to try to work around.
Yeah,
There's
because
better opportunities.
I mean, going back to previous plate races, Denny's told us this. These guys are too on top of each other and in control. If we give them more space between each other and they're on the edge of handling, then it's going to create more opportunities to do stuff. And right now, outside of this very unique occurrence, that's not something that they get very often. And I think you could kind of see it because look at who was running out the front like the old days. This was like old school Brad Keselowski on a plate track.
Yeah,
And
and
Chase,
he did a very good job when he was up there. He showed he still had it because he was able to control the race pretty well, but when a couple of them would work out together, they could get by him.
yeah, and I think he had a really good point there. Man, Speaking of him, we want to talk about the big wreck. It started right there at the 11 car, just about.
So I haven't got to see his yet, but I guess you saw it and thought he said that maybe it was on him.
Yeah, he said that he's got to be honest, and he thinks that his spotter was kind of telling him they were stacking up in front of him, and John Hunter was already locked on the car in front of him, and so Denny got on his back bumper, which he says he probably shouldn't have because then John Hunter had basically no control because his front and back were being locked, and that kind of got him.
See, I just figured Denny was tired of racing there because the last 3 races he's done so bad. He said, "The heck with this, I'm going out early."
Well,
He said, I'm taking you with me.
Yeah.
He did mention something kind of like that. He said, "What if I told y'all if you gonna be in the wreck, make sure you start it because most of the time, not this time, but most of the time, if you start it, you get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times you're the one that makes it through.
Yeah, so.
No, that's not. I know he wasn't trying to cause a wreck on purpose, but it looks like he was the fault of it from the videos I've seen.
Yeah, and good on him for taking credit. I think old school Denny might have not have, so.
All right, so I got another question for y'all about this race, though. The Hendricks cars.
Oh.
Bowman, and even though Chase he pulled it off, even though he did it throughout almost the whole entire race when they were together until the end, they absolutely did not work together. Mm-hmm. It was like they were doing everything they can to make the other guy go back or their teammate. They really just did no working together. But if you happen to notice, when Kozlowski was out front, Buescher was working with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were like a two-man dance, controlling everything.
So why do you think? You think that's a standard operating procedure at Hendricks? All for yourself until the end, or all for yourself through the race? Or, I mean, you don't see a lot of Hendricks working together anywhere at the plate tracks.
Even in Xfinity.
No,
they weren't working together with JRM.
No, they
either.
Definitely weren't.
And they've had all 4 cars at the front at Talladega and lost the race.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I wonder if maybe it's just their standards are so high for all of them winning that they're more all for themselves getting a win, especially with Chase and Bowman, because they're the two that Hendrick guys that are being looked at right now. So they need to win the most. And I think with Brad and Buescher, they know they're kind of an underdog team, so they're more willing to help each other just to make sure one of them wins because they know it's harder for them. And also, Brad's pushed Buescher to wins before.
But I mean, he did it when he was with Penske. Him and Joey was a heck of a team together.
Yeah.
It's not like this is just something new for Brad. It's something he has done all along.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's being the superstars versus underdogs.
Yeah.
Maybe
all about me versus the team.
I'd just be curious to know what was said in their meetings on Monday morning is, hey, guys, y'all need to work better together, or it's you did a great job and we're happy with how it turned out.
Or maybe
the end result was okay, but.
Yeah, I mean, when it came down to the end, Bowman did what Bowman needed to do to make sure they won because he could have pushed Brad, and he went below him to make sure he drug him back, so.
They need a bonding day. That's what they need. Go out together, get your nails done, hang out.
Yeah, okay.
They just never seem like they like each other. The Hendricks drivers don't. You don't ever see them do anything together or really even talking together and stuff like you do people from other teams and stuff. I just noticed that, over time. At least that's just what I've seen. But
because you do have some teams when their co-driver or teammate wins, then they're right down there in victory lane hugging them and jumping up and down with them. So.
But you just don't ever see that from Hendricks drivers.
No, not so much.
They just don't seem like they even care to, even be in the same room with some of these other people. Like I say, as much as I like Larson, I mean, he don't seem like he really cares for him. I know he's friends with Denny and all of them and stuff, or he was and all that. So.
All right. Well, Jeff Gordon, this is a question for you. Why is it that way?
That's a good question.
Maybe we can get an answer.
Yeah, I doubt it, but I'd just be curious to know.
Kenny, help me get an answer. You got connections, right? I'm sure you can call up old Jeff.
And maybe we're just seeing something that's not there, but it looks pretty obvious to me.
But there's another point to go toward that, though. Why aren't we seeing stuff like that? I mean, you want these drivers to be likable. You want people, to like them.
Yeah.
Show them being friends and being regular people. That's why so many people don't care for Chase on the regular, because he seems like somebody with no personality. And he might very well be that way and just be dry, not want people to know about him, which is totally fine. But when every single driver at Hendrick just seems to be like that most of the time, I mean, you just kind of start to
Kenny
think.
has said that Jeff Gordon wants all of them to be vanilla. So I think that does go back to him. But back to Chase, I think we might have saw something out of him this weekend.
I saw a smile.
Yeah, and I
was surprised.
Heard he was up in the crowd with us celebrating. And,
he couldn't smile with a sombrero on his head at Mexico, but he smiled tonight. But a win's different from second place with the sombrero on your head on the podium. But.
Yeah, and we talk about him carrying, and this was aggressive running out of Chase that I don't think he does very often. He really was making moves and going for it for most of the night, I think. I think that's what his fans have really been looking for out of him. So
Yeah,
maybe he's
and
turned
couldn't have
around.
happened at a better place, I don't think, because for those of you who weren't there, the crowd went nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, you could feel it in the stands, just vibrating with people
Oh, yeah.
hollering and jumping up and down.
They loved it. Hometown. It's always good to see hometown boy when it is his home track.
Yep.
Even.
Oh yeah, we had a group in front of us that I thought they were going.
Yeah.
Grown men hugging and kissing and
So you would have thought they just saw somebody come back from war or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
They just saw Chase Elliott go across the line.
it all, which I think I know for sure 2 or 3 of them had 9 shirts on. So
Somebody had a 9 tattoo on beside us.
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah, so there you go.
But-
They were right there with the rest of the crowd.
That points out the beauty of NASCAR and just sports in general, right? Something as simple as your team winning a game or a race or whatever will just bring you together like that. You could hate the guy on the other side of you in every aspect of their life, but if you're fans of the same team or driver, you're brothers when they come across and win.
But those people were real passionate anyhow. I don't know if y'all noticed when Logano went out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
They
were laughing, cussing,
sir.
and singing.
Oh yeah.
I feel bad for the
Hey,
Joey
hey,
fans.
hey,
over there.
goodbye.
Yeah, they sure were. But hey, that's the passion of the sport.
Yeah.
Good, it's good to see on both sides.
I mean, that brings people
Yeah.
together, good or bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I started to look down there and say, hey, y'all know this little boy that's sitting beside me, he's a big Logano fan, right? He's about to cry. But
That's why he had a Kyle Busch hat on, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that probably wouldn't have worked.
yeah.
But anyhow, how about the winner? What do you think about that other than him having some personality? Do you think that the right guy won the race at the end of the day?
I'm mixed on it.
I think he definitely was.
With what was left, it was.
Yeah, the best of what was left besides Brad. He had one of the best handling cars, and they're on a run right now. This is 3 straight top 5s.
Yeah.
And they got it clicking, so I think they earned that one. I don't have an issue with it.
I'm only mixed because I really think Brad deserved that win too. Which, I mean, there were a lot of drivers out there that did deserve it, don't get me wrong, but Brad was running and driving the hardest I've seen him drive all season. I was just hoping he'd pull it out that last lap and hold on to it, but he couldn't. And
No, it was simple as he came on the radio at the Checkered and said, I needed a teammate.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that was.
But how many times does this happen at restricted races? The guy that you think is going to win, who's been pretty dominant,
Yeah.
somebody's been waiting in the wings and just sets him up just right at the end.
Yeah.
A lot of times you don't want to be that guy out front.
Yeah, no, and that's the question I was going to say. If you're coming to the white flag, do you want to be the leader or second? Or
In that race, I would want to be second because the passes I saw, that seemed to be the place to be. If you could get the right run.
Yeah.
If the guy could make the right block, it would kind of shut you down. But when there's somebody right behind him, he don't have a chance. You get a draft off the second or third car and you're gone.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the only downside of being second is if third comes for you, he can drag you back. But
I will say when Chase made that final pass, though, he shot out of there like a rocket. He had it in his head exactly what he wanted to do, and it panned out just perfect for him because when he went by, he cleared them pretty good, got a way too big a gap if they had to run another lap.
yeah,
But it worked out for that one.
yeah, I'd say that he probably planned it. I'd like going back to the old school. When Chase got into it, he was a pretty good plate racer when he started.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't surprise me that in a night that looked kind of like the old days, he was up there right with Brad.
Yeah.
And I got a couple things about Chase real quick.
What's that?
Now I'm remembering it. It was a really extra thing that made the win special because his car, I don't know if y'all heard it yesterday. I know they talked about it a little bit, but his car, the paint scheme was designed by an 11-year-old cancer patient.
Really?
Yeah, and so just to have that on top of it, it's almost like, when Ross come out of there at the Coke 600, for the veterans and all that, and he's like, I talked to this family, and it's almost like it just adds a deeper emotional level to it that most people don't even think about. But I read that, and I thought that was really neat. That kid designed a car and got to see it go into victory lane. I mean, that's cool.
That's really cool. I had heard that he had gotten his charity with the Children's Hospital on the hood for the race, and they were auctioning off stuff, but I didn't know that part.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's great.
Another thing about Chase is that I read earlier today, that he has the best average finish out of all the NASCAR drivers now, with 10.3 being his average finish, which has surprised me because Chase, I mean, most people, he's the one.
Though? I mean, he's the only guy that's gotten all top 20s. I think all but 3 races is all top 15s. He's consistent. He's always up there.
I only say it's surprising because when you look at it, it's really not. But just all season, everybody's been like, is Chase a problem? Do we need to get rid of Chase? But he's the driver out there with the best finish right now, average finish. So, I mean,
consistently 15th at Hendrick's isn't going to cut it.
If you're going to find a Hendrick driver to pick on, Chase ain't the one to be picking at right now. I mean, he's...
No, it's all over. Several things I've seen on the internet now. They're talking about, is Chase primed to win another championship? I mean, there's already people looking at that. It's way too early for that, I think. But
if he can keep it rolling, I mean, he'd have a decent shot.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's too early to really.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of that up and down that goes on though through the season. Though we'll see how he maintains. But
well, I want to mention another guy that did really good. We had Eric Jones getting a top 5, finishing 5th right now, between whether it's him or John Hunter running decent, and they've already got, I think, more than twice the amount of top 5s this season as they do in the last 2 years combined. Eric actually has an 11th place average finish over the last 6 races, and over the last 5 races he's 4th in points gained. Only 3 guys on that track have gotten more points than Eric Jones in the last 5 races. So
hopefully that continues, and hopefully it continues with Kozlowski's team. It'd be nice to see more players out there week by every week. They were up there challenging.
Yeah, he's on a streak too. He's got Brad's 4 top 10s in the last 6 races, and he's 9th in points in the last 5 races. The only thing with him, because I look at Brad as an actual, I'm sorry to Legacy and Eric, but I don't know that they're ready to win right now. But Brad, he's a veteran. I think it wouldn't surprise anybody if he wins. The only thing with him, he's running out of time. We're down to 8 races left, and the next 2 are road courses. Brad's not the greatest at road courses, so unless something crazy happens, we can. Unless something crazy happens, we can check off the next 2, and that leaves 6 races for Brad. And he's had very solid and good runs, but they're slipping away.
Yeah, but I think he's done well enough that I wouldn't count him out now. It would not surprise me at all if he got in on a win. And you know what? If he did, I don't think I would think as bad about it, because what he has improved over the last several races. I think I would feel better about him coming from the bottom than some other people that have just been mediocre the whole time.
Yeah, because we had several others that could have took that spot this weekend.
Right, and that was pretty much one of very few decent runs that they've had.
Brad Week's coming. You're just not ready for it.
Brad Week's coming, huh? You've
been
saying that for about 3 weeks.
And I said it last year till he finally won. So I'm going to die on that hill. Brad Week's coming.
Well, for him, I hope it does.
I do too.
Yeah, I
like
wouldn't mind it. On the downside, I got the other half of Hendrick. I'll go with the smaller one right now. Byron's gotten only 3 top 10s in the last 6 races, which not horrendous, but not what he's been putting up the rest of the season. And he's still got the points lead, so I don't know if that's a huge notable one. That one's just he's on my list now of what's.
I think Rudy just tells him to take a break mid-season, tear some stuff up. Let's try some off-the-wall crap. I don't know, because that seems to be the way it is with them.
Him and Bell must share notes.
Yeah,
because they both seem to be.
I mean, there is a trend there with him. It's been pretty regular that it's been that way.
I'm thinking that's gotten traded off to Larson, though, because do you realize Kyle Larson has not led a single lap in the last 5 races?
Hurts me.
Is your heart okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling it. It's right there.
He hasn't.
Yeah.
He in the last 5 races on points, he's not even in the top 10. I don't know where he is.
Don't count him out.
Well, now,
you can't, but we always want to hype him up. He's doing amazing, greatest driver in the world. Nobody's talking about he's on a downward spiral right now.
Yeah.
Now, to play Larson's advocate here, like devil's advocate, a lot of the races he's been in have not gone his way because of unfortunate incidents. Think about when Kyle Busch drove it in too deep at Mexico and ran into him. That cost him a lot.
I guess so,
And then
but
think about this week, he got caught in that big old wreck, just like same thing with Byron too. I'm gonna be an advocate for him because he got caught up in that big wreck, just like a lot of other drivers
just
did.
this weekend. And what do we say about what happened to Bowman a few weeks ago?
Wow.
These things would not happen if he wasn't running back there.
Exactly.
He doesn't have speed right now, and he's not running up front, and he's getting wrecked more. So I think they're just missing something right now. And no, we're not going to count him out because Larson's Larson, but it's got to be said that he's...
unlike Brad, there's some tracks coming up that he should do real well at. So we'll see real quick how that happens, or what happens.
So where are they going? Chicago and then Sonoma.
And we know what he can do there.
We'll see.
He might get flashbacks at Indy. I don't know, though. I'm a little scared for that one. But
that remains to be seen, but I think we'll know real quick if things are okay.
He might be like Ricky Bobby. He'll go get out there on Indy for practice or something. He'll be like, I feel you, mother speed. Like, Larson, you're only going 30 miles an hour. It's like, oh. Last time I drove faster here, I didn't end so well. But no, I think he'll be. I think he'll make at least,
No, I mean, I'm not counting
out.
I'm just they're missing something right now. I think it can be seen. That's just all I'm saying.
All right.
Well, I don't think we can talk about the race and this track and the craziness and just wildness that we got out of it without giving a shout out to Marcus Smith. This was all his idea, and we can all agree, I think, when they said they were repaving it, the drivers hated it. I hated it. I think, Frank, you probably hated it. Connor, what is he doing? This is so dumb. We love old Atlanta, and we're here now. And I think Marcus continues to be a guy that's just so good at trying things and seeing what happens. He did the Bristol on dirt. He did the Roval. He brought back North Wilkesboro. And not all of them have been the best thing ever, and some of them have died out over a couple of years, but I think he hit on something with this one, and I want to give him a shout out.
Yeah. But they all took time to settle in, though. That's a very important thing to think about. So when you think about, people out there watching, you think about when they say a change or something in the future, give it a year or two, because Atlanta, it did suck when they first repaved it. It was nothing but just straight. It was about like a Daytona or Talladega. But now that it's had time to wear out and they've adjusted this car to it and all that stuff, it is the best race. So that's the other thing you got to think about with those things. That
all right,
a lot of people
shout out to him then. I agree with what you say.
All right.
I got another question for y'all. What about some of the younger drivers that did actually get up front, in particular Zane Smith and some of them? What I noticed was when they got out front, they did exactly what I said Chase did on the last lap. They got too big of a lead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't know how to control a race, and this is something I've talked about a couple times on here. You got to learn how to race out front, and I think that's what cost them. If you remember, who did Kenny Wallace say was going to win the race?
Him.
Zane Smith.
And I think
Zane was there. He could have won the race, but had he learned how to control the race better, he had a whole lot better chance at it.
Got to run up front to know how to run up front.
Exactly.
And he doesn't do that enough. And that's not his fault, but that's just the truth of it.
I think Riley Herbst had a panic attack when he got up there for his
that was a surprise.
Yeah. Hey, but that's twice in the last couple of weeks that he's been running out there, so.
Yeah.
And Ty Gibbs led a few laps, too. That was pretty good. And the Sonic pickle car, very beautiful to see.
I tried the pickle meal. Yep. The meal was good. Drink terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I haven't tried it yet. I guess I'll have to give it a shot, but maybe not the drink because
that
just doesn't sound good.
3 different types of acid from what I heard for the shake. So.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyway, what were you saying, Connor?
I was just going to I was going to ask you about your Sonic drink if you thought it was good, because
I only almost threw up 2 times. So
I think this deserves a trend like they did the Grimace shake when that come out. They need to do a trend around that now, but I don't think anybody's going to hop on that train before it's gone. But from what I've heard about it might as well put people in the hospital for some of the things. But
all right, we'll stay away from that.
So. Yeah. Is there anything else about this race, or we going to kind of move into?
One thing I would like to say about it that I did see was poor old Connor Zillage.
Oh yeah.
Nobody would help him, and the boy ran good all day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't contending for a win or anything, but I mean he was always right there. Yeah. 12, 15. He was running decent right there at the back of that front pack.
Yeah, and I think he dodged about every wreck.
Yeah, he dodged all the wrecks. I don't think there was a soul on that track that gave him a push or a toe or nothing the whole race.
No, just the rookie life.
Yeah, I guess that's the way it is. But
it sucks. Yeah, I agree with you.
He ran the smartest race he could for what was going on in it, I think, and did good.
Yep.
I wish separate, but I wish I could find the list. They say 36 out of the 40 cars were involved in a wreck. I just wanted to play a game to see who the 4 that were, but I can't find it nowhere. NASCAR needs to make their stats.
Well, Chase was out front when that wreck happened, so he's probably one of them.
Yeah, and maybe Busher.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. We couldn't see the other side of the cars well enough to tell who was in and out, but yeah, there were a lot of tore up cars, but some of them did a good job of getting them back out there. They didn't have all the speed they needed, but they ran decent. And looking at the wreck, it looked like that Kyle Busch got hit pretty good, and they were able to at least get out there and run decent laps. They couldn't keep up quite, but they were close to it, and they improved on Larson's car as well too. Because when he first went back out, he didn't look good at all, but they got it where it would almost hang with the pack.
Yeah. So how do you feel about this DVP policy they got going now? That they can go back in the garage and work as long as they want, so long as they come back out and meet minimum speed.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. But I also think sometimes it might cause a problem that don't need to, a car going too slow or something.
No, but they've got to meet the speed, though.
Yeah, I know.
They've got a minimum speed.
It caused a different problem that I don't think many people heard about. Apparently, I guess NASCAR does a basic check right when you come in to say, hey, you're good, put it back together, go back out, or you got stuff that can't be fixed, just go ahead and pack up. And they missed something on Briscoe's car, so that they worked on that 19 for an hour, and then an official came over there and told them they were done. And they were livid. Yeah. And I don't blame them.
I guess so, because I will tell you this, and we were sitting at right where you come off of Pit Road, and we had a very good view of it, and them was hard-working boys Saturday night. The pit crews, they earned their money, and most of them just constantly in and out of the pits. And the other ones we couldn't see were in the garage, but I'm sure there were several of them working too.
Yeah, they get the shout out of the weekend for sure, I think.
Yeah.
The only thing that's minor, I don't think we should really care, but I think they should let the drivers get out of the car. They made Denny sit in that car the entire time it was being worked on, because if you get out, you're done.
I agree, and I got something about that a little bit later on in the show too.
Do you think they let him take bathroom breaks at least, or he
Nope.
just got to pee in the fire suit sitting in there? But see, now that's dumb. I mean, let him go.
He
let
did
the man
say
use
he
the
got
porta
his
potty.
phone at least.
Yeah.
He said he went scrolling on X to see if everybody was blaming him for the wreck or not. But dang, I just couldn't imagine. That's
better than
gotta be boring.
Heck, I'd expect the whole Chick-fil-A meal delivered to my car. I'd be sitting in there eating like, you done fixing my car yet? Or either that or you let me out and I'm going to the porta potty or something. I'm like, but I do hate that for him. But
yeah. Well, I think that's all I got for the main cup stuff. We got 12 winners now, so only 4 spots left, 8 races to go.
Yep.
And that'll be a show, but I think that's pretty much decided unless we have some new winners outside.
Yeah, and there's a few that can do it. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
yeah.
How about the Xfinity race? Thought that was a pretty crazy one too. It just got overshadowed.
Yeah.
After you get Austin Hill knocked out and all of a sudden.
And Love gets damaged.
Yeah.
That takes all you 2 fast cars out anyhow, because they're definitely dominant there.
Yeah.
But of course, Nick Sanchez wins, and guess who he's affiliated with? Childress.
Yeah.
So they still kind of got him one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Apparently, Hill got pretty pissed off at somebody.
Yeah, he told Daniel Dye. He told Daniel Dye to give him the middle finger again, beep beep, and
and Hill's a pretty good sized boy too. So
I just see some people that don't really appreciate it. That he only likes to do this with the young, littler people. He don't ever do it to somebody his own size.
yeah, maybe I haven't paid enough attention. I just happened to see the video where he was pretty harsh on him, and I really don't know what I apparently gave him the finger, but that seems to happen pretty often on the track. I know I've done it on a racetrack before, and I've got plenty of them on the racetrack when I was racing before. So no big deal there, I don't think. That's just saying hi in a different way.
Yeah, I'm just wondering Why have y'all noticed? It seems like Hill is the one that has the mechanical issues every time. Because if we go back to Daytona, he was leading and got knocked out because the axle broke or something.
He got the fastest pit crew out there. Maybe they're just working too fast on his car.
Yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, you are right.
that just seems strange to me. It's never Jesse. It's always Austin. But
Yeah.
for them, they actually have some interesting stuff going on with the cut line. Sheldon Creed and Ryan Sieg are tied right now, and Harrison Burton's only -1 point. So,
all right, who do you want in out of the three? If it's one of those three going to make it, who would you want it to be?
Sieg, I think.
I like Sieg,
They're
but
just, yeah,
Creed probably would be
deserving.
more deserving maybe. And we know he can run second.
Yeah,
And he can run second.
it's been a few minutes though.
Yeah, it has, but he can run second. We know that. I'm just repeating it because
That won a
that's how many.
championship before.
Yes, it did. Yeah, it did. So I don't. But yeah, Sieg's always a sentimental favorite. He don't have what everybody else does, and he drives his butt off in that car.
And I don't think I'd mind Harrison because, he stepped down from Cup, but this team that he went to was a very, very underfunded, just small group that I don't think they would have hoped to be fighting to be in the playoffs. So
No, and they've done exactly what they need to be there, though. They know they don't have a front-running car. They take advantage of all the little points they can get here and there, and they seem to try to avoid things as best they can and just get a decent finish every week. And it's paid off for them.
Yeah, and that's all I got for Xfinity. Shout out to Nick Sanchez for his win.
Yeah.
Maybe
Way to go, Nick. But
yeah. So
if it's some other cars that have been in it, I don't think it would have happened.
no, probably not. The truck race.
Crickets.
I'm sorry, did they race? I thought Corey Heim just drove a few practice laps.
Yeah, I think he had
Lord
a
God.
Sunday drive on a Saturday afternoon. But
Yeah. Wow.
there's some very
I do have one thing about it, though. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've got one thing I want to say about that. Can somebody please tell Lane Riggs that when you got a second place car, run in second. You don't have to run 40 miles an hour extra in the corner. Come on, Lane. You're a great driver, but it's when he can't win, I think, and he thinks he's got to try something, he just overdrives. And a really good driver seems to have a great personality, but it's like I'm tired of getting beat by Heim, so I'm going to do this.
He's just in their head.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely. But hey, Lane did lead a lap. And that's something that a lot of people are pretty pissed off about, actually. I don't know if you've seen it, but
Yeah, I don't know how that happens, but
apparently,
we were on the radio, so I didn't get to see it.
well, from my understanding, the restart rules in NASCAR have always been the leader, you can't pass the leader until he crosses the line. But apparently, the leader has to fire first, but it doesn't matter who gets to the line first. So Lane got rolling better, and coming to the green, he beat Heim to the line, and they counted that as him leading a lap.
Oh, okay.
And people were pretty mad because Heim was set up to run a perfect race for the first time in like 30 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And all because of Lane getting him on a restart. He didn't get it. I don't really care, but some people were pretty mad about it. How about Heim passes Matt Crafton and wins, and he's only got 79 starts. Crafton's at 582.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous, but Heim's got something going on there. You think it's the driver? You think it's the car? Do you think it's the crew? Do you think that they're cheating like crazy?
He's shown that he can run good. I mean, he's done good in the Cup car, so it's both. They're just executing. Well, they're executing okay. Really, they're not doing perfect because they should have won twice as many races, but they're just so much better than everybody else that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's 144 points out of second now. He could literally sit out. I think he could sit out the next 3 races and win the regular season championship.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yes, it is.
And speaking of points for them, I think they're pretty much set. They only got these 3 races left, and really 38-point gap, and I think they're done. The only notables I have outside right now, Gio Ruggiero, wouldn't be completely shocked if he got one. He's pretty consistently around top 10, top 5. And our past champion, Ben Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes, yeah, I was thinking maybe he might sneak one in, but they haven't had enough. Occasionally they have good speed, but not enough.
Yeah. So.
And I like Ben Rhodes. He's always gave great interviews. Seemed like a real happy person. So I'd like to see him be in it, but I mean, if the truck's not fast enough, then he just don't deserve to be there.
Nope. So I think they're set. I don't see it changing, but maybe it
probably
will. Well, y'all ready to get into some yellow tape takes?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to start us off?
Well, mine will be a little different this week since I was at the racetrack, and one of them that I did see at the race, and a couple other people had mentioned it as well, is the TV screens at that racetrack. If you compare them to some other ones, of course, I don't see as good as some people, but even some other people that were younger that were there with us, they were having a hard time seeing what was going on the screen on the replays. And it's nice to watch a replay after a wreck. But, if they could get some bigger ones in there, and I know it costs money, but it would be real nice for the fans to be able to all the way down the front straightaway there to be able to see the replays on there.
Especially for those of us like we were sitting so high up. You're looking down there and you're like, okay, I see that car, but who's that ran into him? Especially when a lot of them have similar paint schemes and stuff. You can't hardly see it, and you're trying to figure out. And
maybe it's asking for a lot, but
well, I don't think so, because there's
other tracks that have them.
Some stadiums and stuff like that for football games and stuff like that. They'll have little TVs and stuff for the higher areas where you can see it closer and all that stuff. So I think that would really.
Not that it makes a difference.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm not noticing any difference.
You didn't see any difference?
No, pretty all right to me, I thought, but
you had your eyes closed the whole time. I was confused.
Yeah.
How's he watching the race?
Y'all are just complainers like usual.
Okay, I'll quit complaining.
Well, I do have a tape that goes along with your thing there for a little bit, actually, a lot more than what I thought, which is, I have not hid my disdain for the Echo Park renaming of Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Hang on, did you know this is like the 129th race at Echo Park Speedway?
What?
It's been around a long, long time, I thought.
Yeah, they got 129 different winners, don't they?
Yeah, I saw they had this wall of winners at Echo, and it said Echo Park winners. I said, they hadn't never raced here before. What the heck? They making up history now. Gosh.
All right, I heard something about that on something that I was trying to listen to, not watch, because I don't watch videos in my truck, but I was trying to listen to on the way home in my truck.
Yeah.
And I think that Echo Park, the business is owned by a family member of the Smiths. And I think that's how some of that came into being.
You good? Is it upsetting you that
And you
much?
might want to check into that, but I'm
water.
pretty certain it is one of his family
Okay.
members, whether it be a cousin, a brother, or something, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's some of his family that owns that business.
Yeah.
Well, what was your point? We didn't let you finish.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, he was
It's
trying
good.
to
Get more
choke out
talking
on
time.
us. I mean,
It upsets me that much. I can't even talk about it. But no, I have had my my disdain for the Echo Park rename just because I'm just big against change a lot of time. But I did have it in my mind. I was like, well, maybe when we get there, there'll be some real big upgrades, real differences, real something. But I was very disappointed to get there and see that it was really just a coat of paint. Because if you walked in there and said, "Hey, this is Atlanta Motor Speedway," just like it was, I'd be like, "Yeah, it was." I mean, but I was figuring they'd at least have, like Frank said, bigger TV screens or better sound somewhere, or something like that. Heck, I figured they'd have Wi-Fi that go throughout the whole thing, and I couldn't get the Wi-Fi to reach up the seats where we were at, and I'm like, it just, I guess it's not more of a take, just an opinion, but I was just very disappointed in. And I don't know how y'all feel about, well, you can't even see nothing, so it don't matter. The visual stuff don't matter to you, but I just mean that I figured there would be a lot more differences for this just big renaming, this big grand new thing. But it was just, there was a little bit of green paint here, and that was about it. So, so if I call it Atlanta Motor Speedway, that's because it's still exactly Atlanta Motor Speedway.
They did look the same.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any differences.
No.
Well, I got to take that. I kind of disagree with this William Byron. He says that racing like they did on that restart and wrecking all those cars is kind of embarrassing and makes them look like the truck series. I don't agree, because outside of Michigan, the truck series has been very, very clean this year. And I think the truck series is embarrassing the Cup series, honestly, because those drivers have not been wrecking all over the place.
If anything, they're more like the Xfinity series this year. They have more in common this year. I mean, what did Mike Joyce say? So this is a dumpster fire. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Dumpster fire is contained, and he was talking about the Xfinity series. So, heck, why is he doing the trucks like that? That ain't.
I just disagree with him on that one.
Well, I mean, and you throw 20-something cars under a blanket, so all somebody's got to do is twitch.
Yeah.
I don't care how good of drivers there are. One person zigs, and what did Cletus say? Zigged when they should have zagged, or zagged when they should have zigged, and that's all it takes. It's not much.
Yeah, at the end of the day, sometimes we forget that they make it look way easier than it actually is.
Yeah.
And
you put your butt in that car and go around that track and see how difficult it really is.
I feel like most people wouldn't even be able to make a lap by themselves.
No, it's getting in a car and going around a racetrack is a whole lot different than it looks from the stands. And I don't know it from being on a NASCAR track, but I know it from being on some really fast half-mile tracks and some little short tracks.
Yeah.
There's just no comparing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, think back when, who was it? Oh, God. Darrell Waltrip got in the car with, I think it was Tony Stewart. Was it Tony?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Anyhow, one of the drivers put him in the car and on the passenger side and made some laps. And Darrell was screaming and just about ready to jump out of the car. It scared him so bad. And he said, it was different when he was driving, and he just realized, boy, this is scary.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I got another take. I want to say, even though this is a drafting track, I think we've gotten to the point where handling is more important than speed now. Do y'all agree or disagree?
It's definitely making a difference, because there were some drivers talking about letting off the throttle. They weren't just running around there wide open the whole time.
Yeah, and I just think you could see it because Chase was the best at handling on that, sticking to that bottom and being able to make a run, and it paid off.
Yeah, and the same with Hocevar at the first of the race, buddy. He was diving to the bottom and shooting by to it. He'd get a little arrow off of somebody and dive to the bottom and turn straight down the track and shoot by 2 or 3 of them. You can't do that without handling.
No, and I wonder, the Fords are qualifying in the top 8 because they're going for pure speed, and in qualifying that works for them, but they get put in the race, and I wonder if we see them running in the mid-pack where they were on that restart, of how good they could have got back to the front, because I don't think they would have handled as good as some of the other guys.
Maybe not.
But, yeah, that's just what I think, and I wonder if it'll get worse as the track ages a little bit more.
I hope so.
And especially if they race on a hotter track, because the track was cooled off, which helped with handling. But yeah. Which
that is another take that I have, kind of a little bit that I have, and I think, and I know people are probably gonna disagree with me on this because I don't know too terribly much about race cars and the way they go in this environment, but I think
you know
NASCAR,
more than Kyle Larson. He don't even know how to change a wheel. Anyway, continue.
Oh yeah, I can't do that. Heck, I use his sponsors. I use his oil sponsor. I use Valvoline when I changed out my Camaro. So, anyways, I think that NASCAR, at least Saturday when we were in Atlanta, I think they were being a little bit too soft, because when they pulled out that caution for that rain delay, it rained for maybe 5 seconds, and it wasn't even nothing but a light drizzle. And I'm like, why are you going under caution for this? Just run in the rain if you're really that worried about it. Get them to put on wets or something like that. But they come out and they bring the dryers and all around the track, and I'm like, why are we wasting time on this? Right, and like I say, I know that I don't know much about cars.
I completely disagree with you on that one. It's just.
I don't want to run slick tires on a track with a few drops of water on it.
No,
but I'm like,
Denny
if you're worried about it,
you can't see it. But he's done said that running through those corners, they're sliding the whole way through. And I couldn't imagine trying to run 180 miles an hour with 30 cars around me and hitting a little water. I mean, they wrecked on a supposedly dry track and took out 24 cars.
Yeah.
So, now, I don't want to try that experiment, But
I think just one race or something, you know, because like I say, it really wasn't that heavy of rain, and it didn't last that long. Like if it would have went on for a couple more minutes or something, maybe. But it just, I was like, really, we're stopping for this? And you know how long caution laps take. That was another big problem for how many cautions we had. I mean,
10 cautions, 68 laps.
That's what we had.
A quarter of the race under caution.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that's.
But at least this time after the caution, there was some heck of a good racing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't deny that.
And it wasn't like they were beating the fool out of each other like
No.
sometimes cautions breed cautions. And it did a little bit here, but not as much, I don't think. It just tightened them up just enough of the good cars that was left in the race to make it more exciting. So that one played out pretty well, I think, with the cautions.
The only thing I just would ask out of it is with that, we didn't get any of the green flag stops. And that's just, I mean, the crews worked so hard on repairing cars and all, but I wish I could have seen them in action, under a green flag stop. That would have been cool, but that's my only complaint.
Yeah, and we had a perfect vantage point from where we were at to see that happen. But yeah, unfortunately, it didn't. That's real odd, but it didn't. There were a couple of them, I think, that made some green flag stops, but it was back markers
Yeah.
that had issues.
Well, that's all my yellow tape takes. Y'all got any more?
I have one slight one. So just one slight one that I know everybody's going to say that I'm crazy and that I deserve to be locked away, and I deserve all my NASCAR fan rights stripped away, but I'm going to say it anyways, is that I think with a little more time and a little more adjusting to this car on this track, this really could be a championship race contending spot.
No.
I think it's spot on.
No.
I think that it really could work. I know this weekend didn't prove it because they had that big wreck, but I really do think. And I also,
if you can get away from restricting the cars and let them race out there, I think you're spot on.
Yeah, but no. If it stays like this, absolutely not. I'm not. You know what? No, I'll go with it. Let's do it and have the final four all finish 37, 38, 39, 40. That would be wonderful to see.
well, if they make some playoff adjustments, you know, I mean, we'll see how that goes too. I mean,
Because we just saw that could have definitely happened.
One of the best championship races they ever had was in 1992, and it was
At
Atlanta Motor
But
Speedway.
it was not this.
I know it wasn't this, but I'm just saying if they take the restrictions off the car
yeah.
and make them have to use the brakes in the corner, then they're not gonna be doing quite as much pack racing, I don't think.
No.
It'll be split up more like you were talking earlier.
Yeah.
And I think it would make a good race, and I think it'd make a good final race.
I think that
As it stands right now, maybe not, but
Yeah.
just that little bit of tweak like he's saying.
that's what I said. Little tweaks to the cars, maybe even just a small thing to the track here. Well, I don't know actually.
Let
Leave the
the
track
track
alone,
tweak itself
but,
out.
Yeah.
Keep
but-
wearing some. Yeah.
And then little maybe tweaks the way the playoffs work too. I know that's been thrown around a lot about how playoffs work and stuff that would make it more compatible for a race there. But it's such a fun race. It's just a shame never to see it be a championship spot again.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's just what I think.
All right, well, you can die on that hill because I'm going to be the one coming after
I'm
you.
dying on that hill with Brad Week and everything else. I'm dying on
Anyway.
it.
What you got, Frank? You got one more?
That's it. That's it.
All
I
right.
mean, all I can say about that is all the races can't be barn burners, but this one was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we were there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's do some rookie moves of the race. Who wants to lead us off on this one?
Yeah, I have a rookie move. David Starr started the race. That
Yeah.
was it. He was in the race. That was my. That really. I know he was out there and he wanted to run out there and he didn't really hurt nobody, but that car was so far behind. I mean, it wasn't even funny. You'd have the whole pack come around, and then about 5, maybe 10 seconds later, you get right around. It just.
I think he got lapped on like 17 laps. I don't.
Yeah.
My only issue, I think somebody like that, maybe NASCAR should not. That's where their
Yeah.
minimum speed, I think maybe they should not be allowed on the track. But as far as him himself, I can't blame him. I would bet money that car was prepared by less than 5 people. And with 5% as much money as the other teams have, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not his fault in my opinion.
No, it ain't his fault.
He met the criteria. He passed their inspection, and he did
Yeah.
what they asked him to do. So they can't tell him no. I mean, they
Yeah.
set the rules in
Yeah.
place.
I know.
The two rookie nominations I have are Denny, because I think it can be said that he took out all of them people, and the other one, like we said earlier, Zane Smith. I think he could have won that race. He just didn't know what he was doing, and so that's my two.
I kind of go with you there, but I'm going to have to just give it to Denny.
Yeah.
He monkeyed up.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Zane still had a good run. That's the only reason, because I was thinking that way, but then after he did that, wound up having a decent run, I thought, I don't think I want to throw him under the bus. We'll just go ahead and stuff Denny under there and leave it there.
Yep.
Yeah. For anybody confused, Denny is my real one. I just figured everybody was going to say it, so I thought I'd throw just a little something in there. Cause, better than saying the same driver over and over again.
Yeah.
But you might look this up, because I think Stars ran a certain every year for so many years or something.
Every year since '98.
Yeah.
I want to say it's somewhere in the 90s.
Yeah, it's him and Junior are battling right there together for two of the guys that's ran the longest consecutive years.
He's participated in a total of 600.
Participated, that's a good word.
600. That's what it says on Google now. 615 races across NASCAR's 3 National Series.
Yeah.
If I was him, I'd have made laps too, just to keep my name in the record book.
Yeah.
It says he has 9 Cup Series starts. Doesn't say what year. It just says he's got 9 starts.
Yeah.
So
I think his first start was in trucks in the late 90. I want to say 98.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, crew cut. I know, Frank, you said you had somebody to nominate for this.
I got a crew cut, and after watching the pit crew this week, I can't slam none of them.
Yeah.
But I got a crew cut, and it goes straight to NASCAR.
Oh.
Yeah.
For making Denny, if what you say is true, for making him sit in that daggum car for all that time.
Yeah.
What does that prove? What good does that do? Who does that benefit? How does that make the race better? How does that make him seem like he's still in the race because he's sat in the car? I've come in at a pit stop before, jumped out of the car, done something, jumped back in the car, and still finished the race. It didn't change nothing. So that's who I'm going to give the crew cut to. Cut it off.
Not only that, but when he went back on the track, he just ran the few laps to pass those 6 other cars, which he says that he was actually ahead of when the wreck happened, so he doesn't even know how he ended up behind them. But he went out to pass them, not to actually meet minimum speed. So when he came back in, because he did not meet minimum speed, they made him go check in at the care center, even though the wreck was 2 hours ago. And if he had met minimum speed, he would have just been clear to leave.
I didn't even think about that. So since he was in the wreck, if you're involved in a wreck, you got to go to the care center, right?
Yeah.
So since he was involved in a wreck and he didn't get out of his car and he went to the garage, then he didn't have to go to the care center. He had just had to sit in his car, because I guess if he got out of his car at that point, he had to go to the care center, right?
Yeah.
That's convoluted in such a messed up way. Oh my God.
He went
sometimes pull your head right out of there and go ahead and think about what you're doing. I mean, come on.
Yeah, because the wreck was, he did end up going to the care center 2 hours after the wreck because he didn't meet minimum speed. That was it. If he had met it, he wouldn't have went.
Whatever.
So
NASCAR, you screwed that one up.
Yeah, I think
love
I
you,
can give
but
that one.
yeah, you botched that one. So I'm going to give you the crew cut on that one.
I want to give an update. I'm guessing he's doing okay, but just from Pocono last week with the tire changer getting hit when Allmendinger slid in there. Apparently his name was J.P. Keeley, and he ended up having 2 cracked ribs and a partially collapsed lung.
Ooh.
So I just want to shout him out for doing the job, and hope he's all right.
Yeah, hope you get better and hope you get back after it soon.
Yeah.
I know I've had broke ribs. That's a rough thing. Never had a collapsed lung, luckily, but it hurts to move with cracked ribs. So.
Yeah. It's a dangerous job.
Yes, it is.
And, well, let's move into the youngster of the race. I got a pretty simple one. I'm going to say Connor Zilic. Actually ended up being the best finishing Trackhouse car.
Yeah.
So, with nobody working with him, he still got 11th, almost squeezed out of top 10.
Yeah.
Y'all got any arguments?
Yeah.
What you got?
What you got, Connor? You agree with him?
I think Zilic did a good job, but I have on here my favorite youngster right now is Hocevar. Just because of what he was able to do with that car, especially after getting in the wreck and everything. I mean, getting all that speed and driving
He was driving his butt off trying to get back up there, wasn't he? It just wouldn't work for him. He really gave it 100%.
But I think after, like I said, getting in that wreck and everything, I think he really did a good job at, like Frank said, just driving his butt off and making it work. So I give it to him.
Yeah, that's a good one. And a couple things on him. One, I want to say he started growing on me. He was on my nerves a little bit.
Yeah.
I was more of the against him just because of his attitude, but I thought it was pretty funny last night. They told him his teammates were like 31st and 35th or something like that, and he said, intentionally or unintentionally? So I thought that was pretty funny.
He's definitely got a personality, doesn't
Yeah.
he? If you want personality in NASCAR, don't look any farther than that. All right, so I got a totally different outlook on who was my pick for that, and that's got to go to Ty Dillon. And he ran good. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with his comments.
Yeah.
I saw that.
That was the best rookie thing as far as being interviewed. He's a rookie at being interviewed, in my opinion. You don't see a whole lot of it, but the comment he made, I just loved it.
For anybody who don't know what we're talking about, when they talked to him about his race, he went ahead and threw out there and told everybody that for the Denny Hamlin fans, he knocked out your favorite driver.
Just loved it. It was just, he was waiting to say that. He'd been waiting all week. I got to beat him. I got to beat him where I can say that.
Yeah, I really liked it. And
yeah. He probably stood in front of the mirror for all you Denny fans. I would have.
And Fox fueled the fire because I don't know if y'all saw their post, but they went ahead and posted Ty Dillon against the world.
Yeah, I did see that. I just love it, and I hope he keeps going.
I did see Denny commented in one of those, but I don't remember if it was on Instagram or what, and he just put legendary in the comments. So I was like, hey, Denny must have thought it was funny.
And I give Denny, he told him, he said it was hilarious. Give Ty his credit. He beat me.
Cool. That's great.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
So I think we'll throw that one up for a poll because I don't know who to give it to.
Yeah.
But
I'll say that. And he ran good too, though. He was able to stay up there.
He
had
Denny
pack.
beat whether Denny wrecked or not. I truly believe that.
I think so.
There was never a point besides when Denny flipped the field and staying out that he was ahead of Ty Dillon straight up.
Yeah. So where did he finish? Where did Ty finish?
Eighth.
Eighth. Okay, I knew he was in the top 10. I couldn't remember exactly where. But yeah, so that was still all in all a good run for him as well. So, but I just love that. That when I saw that made me smile.
Yeah, I liked it. Well, how about a vet of the day? Can we?
I have a one that I picked as my vet of the day, and one I have a shout out to give to.
All right.
So
go ahead.
My shout out, I'm gonna go ahead and start with him, is Stenhouse, because Stenhouse drove his butt off too, and he got up toward the front there.
He came back from a lap or two down. Also.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah. And there was a moment in there we were sitting right off turn one, and I saw it, and he was behind, I think, the top three cars, and then you just saw all of a sudden it was like a darn rocket ship just right out on the side, and he ran out in front of him. I was like, oh, I didn't know Stenhouse had that in him, and he got around him, and
he had the camouflage shorts ready to go. He was fighting.
Yeah. No, and he's always been a decent plate racer. I think he's won about 3 or 4 that you've been at, hasn't he, Austin? Yeah.
Yeah, he's won his first 2 wins. I attended.
Okay, I knew you.
Fortunately or unfortunately.
Yeah. Hey, you were there for him.
Yeah, no, Ricky's. I don't think it can be argued that he's one of the best plate racers at this point. Because I don't think that car did not have the speed to be up there. And if you look, I think at most 2 laps before that run to the lead, he was running 10th.
Yeah.
And
struggling to keep up. But.
Yeah, because I had looked and I saw Ricky down as 10th, and I was like, well, he's got damage, I don't think. And then
what would he do if he was in a Penske car?
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
So you got another one, you said?
Yeah, I have the one that I picked to be my vet of the day overall, and that's the only, the K in RFK, Brad Keselowski.
Yep. I don't think that one can be argued.
Well, I was going to give Chase with an assist from Bowman. Because without Bowman, never would have happened.
Yeah.
Nope.
Or I don't think it would have.
But I had to give it to
Brad.
Brad.
Yeah, I'd say if at the end of the day, probably Brad, because he's turned things around so much. He's shown what they can do, and not just him, but I mean their whole team's been performing recently.
Yeah, Busher was right up there with him.
Yeah.
Him and Chase got into it pretty good when I saw that. I went,
Yeah.
He's fighting for his teammate now. I like that.
So long as he remembers what colors mean what on a pace car, I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
he might go the right direction. Yeah, I had Chase and Brad down, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. He must have been up there the whole time going, no, I can't do it again. Not again. So I got to prove myself this week. And he did. I give it to him.
He
Brad
probably
did.
had that steering wheel as tight in his hands as he could hold it, making sure it didn't go to the left.
He probably heard in his headset, all right, Brad, you can come in. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because that light, I mean, it looks yellow, but I might be colorblind today. It might be green or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's got to have some PTSD. Jeez. But, all right. Some fan field reactions. Main thing, like I mentioned earlier, the poll right at a 90%, 90.5. Fourth best super speedway poll ever. Only behind the 3 wide at Atlanta and a couple others. So fans liked it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. The fan reactions were everything I saw. I might have saw 1 or 2 people that said something negative, but I think if you go back and read, typically when they're posting something, it's negative.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that was one of the big things. Great race. The other reactions I saw, there was a whole lot of people laughing at the Ty Dillon statement.
Yeah.
There was quite a bit of people made comments on that. I think they love it, and you still got your Denny haters out there, so they're gonna love it for that reason. And some people just simply love it because it was funny.
Yep.
I did see, I think the main, I don't want to say it was negative, it's just the point some people were saying, because a lot of people were saying this could have been one of the greatest races ever. And some people were trying to make their point that greatest racing and entertainment are not the same thing. And I don't know how I feel about that, but that's just a point that I saw.
I understand what you're saying, but the pure racing that was going on in the top 10 or 12 cars after they had the accident, just racing, not anything to do with who was up there, was the best cars. Them boys were racing their butt off trying to get that win. And and some of the people like Smith and some of those that this is their opportunity. Yes, sir, they were on the wheel.
Yeah, so I guess thinking about it more, I agree with you.
Yeah. But the greatest race, who knows? I mean, that's very debatable. But as far as just pure racing, up on the wheel racing, I think the ones up that were near the front were on the wheel. And then you had the guys back there like Larson and Bush and some of those that their cars were bad. And they were probably on the wheel more than the rest of them, just trying to keep from wrecking.
Yeah. Well, let's do some pretty quick.
Hang on now, because I do have one.
Yeah, I got a couple more too, if that's all right.
Because mine is actually more of a because I saw a lot of people reacting to this, and a lot of people were very surprised that the team went ahead and did this. I don't know if you saw the video, which I should have brought it up earlier talking about this, but again, I hate to harp on the whole Echo Park Atlanta thing, but a team brought this up in a video. They had Ryan Blaney doing that trend where somebody, they turn their head around in the video and they say something controversial or whatever, they turn around and they go, who said that? And in the video, Ryan Blaney says, it doesn't matter how much money you pay, how many times you change the name, people are still going to call it Atlanta Motor Speedway. And he turns around and goes, who says that? And everybody in the comments of that video are going, what? Can you say that? NASCAR's going to find you now.
It surprised me when he said it.
Team Penske themselves posted it. Like, that wasn't him just on his thing saying, like, but I saw people going nuts over that and thought it was the funniest thing, because you just don't see teams post stuff like that about a track or something NASCAR does like that. So that's a reactionary thing that I want, because it really was a team reaction to something that happened. So I just thought I'd throw that in there before I forgot about it. So.
Yeah.
There's a couple more things too that I did see on the internet quite often, and one of them was about should that be a championship contender race. That there were a lot of people debating that, so that was on there. And then one of the other things that people were saying, not necessarily with the championship part, but they were questioned if maybe Atlanta should be a 4th of July race. I saw a lot of that on the internet and didn't expect that, and hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah, no.
Since they hey, I'm old school. I still like it. It should be at Daytona. That's a Daytona
I'm still
thing.
in Daytona, I think.
So just something I saw on there, though, more often than I would have expected, and a whole lot of debate back and forth about it. And the majority of them were saying yes, but there was a whole lot of debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that leads into my green-white checkered take. I wanted to say Atlanta, or at least I've seen this. Atlanta is NASCAR's best track and therefore is now the best plate track. I feel like I agree that it's the best plate track right now. I don't know about the best track though.
How could you make the other tracks, the other plate tracks better though? They're so big.
Yeah.
What could you do to make them better?
They've got to get
Horsepower.
the space in between the cars like they had at Atlanta, and just make them have to handle, because the tracks are so big that the cars are just glued down right now.
Yeah.
If they get them a little less handling around there, I think those races will be better, and take out the stupid fuel mileage. But yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. And everything I got to say about that race is just what we've been saying the whole time. The only other thing I would like to see is try to let them run one race at Atlanta with the cars not being restricted.
Yeah.
I'd just be curious to see what happened. Whatever horsepower they normally have, run it. Put some big brakes on there. Make sure you don't duck them where the rotors will bust, and have fun.
All right. You good, Connor? Or you got a good one?
I think my take is just, I think I've said my piece with it. My take is just it was a darn good race, and we need to keep it up and improve what we can.
All right. Let's get into track back, some of the week news. Try and run through these. We're getting a little far into it. I know y'all stick with us, but we had an announcement that the 17 car, Hendrick car and Xfinity got a pretty big penalty, $40,000, 40 owners points and 10 playoff owners points for some modifications to the rear of the car, from what I could tell. So that was a surprise.
Yeah.
And how about for Cup? Apparently, we know Ty Gibbs has a rookie crew chief, first year in the Cup Series, from what I've heard, Tyler Allen. And we've kind of seen he got thrown back at Mexico and couldn't come back. And just there's been a few races where he kind of disappeared after running up front. Michigan, they didn't let him go when he had fuel. So anyway, Chris Gabehart, the competition director at JGR, has actually stepped in as the strategist for the team and is going to be kind of helping coach along that team personally during the races. He was on the box this past weekend.
Yeah.
So be interesting to see if that changes anything for them.
Okay.
Another thing I saw, Larson actually came out and said he has no desire to do the double again. He said he's not interested. So
does Kyle Busch get to do it?
I don't know.
You hope, don't you?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
But who? Oh, well. Another thing, Tad Boyd from Zero to Hero gets fired after Mexico City from Ricky Stenhouse spotter, and is now the spotter for Christopher Bell. And I think that's a lot of the past news. And y'all have any?
I have something that I just saw right as we started the podcast that I'd like to go ahead and mention, and that is that nobody has a perfect bracket anymore.
Yeah, I was getting there when we got to the bracket part.
Bob Pockers posted it 2
NASCAR
hours ago.
posted it.
That's not hard to believe.
I saw his, but yeah, NASCAR posted it. Nobody
Zero
after Atlanta.
remaining brackets.
Wow.
Yeah. I was thinking out there somewhere somebody had to pick.
Yeah, I was thinking 90-something%, but
picks
not zero. Wow.
I thought it was over because I just figured with the internet, if anybody did have it right, they would be very viral right now. And I didn't see it anywhere, so I thought, everybody was dead.
I got a couple other things I did want to mention, though. I don't think I said this earlier, but there were supposedly 86 in-race penalties during this race. 86 people got penalties during the race.
I'm curious how that stacks up. And
you know what a lot of them were, like you were talking earlier, with all the wrecked cars
pitting
and
on
all.
a closed pit road and all that. Yeah.
And then did you know Joey won $1 million?
Yeah.
Oh.
I had that on here too.
Okay, well go ahead with it.
That was something I wanted to kind of give NASCAR a shout out on that one. I think it's cool because I've seen some of the old school drivers. They're a little upset because they did all this promotion and stuff for free. So I think it's kind of cool that NASCAR is actually encouraging these guys to get out there and promote the sport, get the name bigger, and they're actually getting points and rewarded for it. Gets paid halfway through the season. At the end, I think $1 million each time. And so, yeah, I think that's just a really cool thing. Joey wins $1 million. Apparently, he's promoted the most. We had Larson and Blaney second and third.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a cool thing.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to get into the bracket if y'all are good with that.
Well, I have one thing I want to bring up, which I should have put it in fan fuel reactions, but I didn't think about it. I just want to mention it real quick, and that's a lot of people did seem to love the night race, just the atmosphere of it. And I have to say, from personal experience being there and seeing it, I saw a bunch of people actually using the flash on their cell phones when they were taking pictures, and I really got nostalgic looking back at all those old NASCAR races when people used to, have physical cameras there.
Yeah.
And you could see all the camera flashes, and right. When there was actually a moment on the restart where everybody turned their phone flashlight on and waved it, and it looked just like it. And I just thought I'd bring that up because that's like, it's not a track back, but it's a throwback. So I thought that would work real quick. But I just wanted to bring that up because just another thing to really highlight what an experience this race was. But,
all right.
Do you think we need to go through the embarrassment of making those picks again, Austin?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, we got to tell them what we think. Also, give results on how we did last
No,
week.
please don't. No, please don't.
No,
I guess if zero people got it.
I went through the work of getting this together. Y'all got to hear it.
All
I
right.
hadn't even looked at mine. I don't even remember who I picked.
All right, well, here's the results. I
Hang your head.
was very close to getting a perfect bracket. If only I had switched every single matchup, because I got 1 out of 16. Frank, you got 3 out of 16. And Connor went 50-50. You got 8 right and 8 wrong. So,
Boy, we suck, Austin.
Twice as good as me and Frank put together.
Woo!
But
How many millions did that get you?
None, but I knew y'all were doubters when you said, I'm taking Kyle Busch over Keselowski, and I'm not taking Stenhouse Jr. And I said, you know what? Heck, I am. And it worked out for me, I think. Some of them did, but not good enough to, obviously. But.
Congratulations, Connor. You whooped our butt good there.
yeah.
First time for everything,
So, you got to do it again. Let's look at round 2.
Oh, Lord.
We got the Sweet 16.
All right, I'm picking everybody that I think's going to lose. Just realize that when I give you a name, it's who I think's going to lose.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh. Well, one interesting thing before we even pick, there's only one winner from the season in the 16, Chase Elliott. Every other driver has not won this season.
I did see that.
Every Penske car has gotten knocked out. 2 of the Hendrick cars and 3 of the Joe Gibbs cars.
Yeah. Ross got knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Shane wasn't in it.
Larson got knocked out.
I like that, though. I want one of these smaller teams to get $1 million if they can, so I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go ahead and throw them out there. Matchup number 1, we got a 32 seed, Ty Dillon. Will he knock out Connor's second favorite driver, Brad Keselowski?
No, give me Brad all day long.
I done become a Ty fan.
I like Ty.
But I got at a road course though. Yeah, I got to go with Keselowski.
All right, well, I'm gonna go with Ty then. I'll let you.
Oh, somebody just has to be different, don't he?
Well,
You're already blind.
I hope he
You're already
does.
blind.
I'll say this. I hope
he does, and it would not shock me because Brad is not a good road racer in this car.
And he used to be.
Yeah,
this is one of those.
That's why I
could
said
see
in this
going
car,
either way.
it's just he hasn't figured it out. I don't know why.
I hope Dylan goes all the way.
Yeah, me too. All right. Number 8 seed, Alex Bowman versus number 9, Bubba Wallace. Will they get into their scuffle like they ended Chicago last year?
Give me Bowman.
Bowman?
I'm taking Bowman.
Right.
Yep, same here. Bowman's run pretty good recently, and he did good.
Bubba's honestly on a downward.
Not that this is a road course, but he did pretty good at road courses.
It's a street course, Frank.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that.
He won it last year.
Yeah.
All right, number 12, John Hunter Nemechek versus number 5, Chase Elliott.
Chase.
Yeah, I'll take Chase. He's a good road course driver. So.
Yeah.
I agree on that one. I guess I should have mentioned, there's a very likely chance that we might get this one rained out or have rain like the last two, and it'll become a chaotic who knows what, but you can keep that in mind. Anyway, number 20, Eric Jones versus number 29, Ricky Stenhouse.
I think Jones, based on his recent performance.
Yeah, he's just...
give me Jones.
They're putting it together right now. All right. Number 31, Gregson versus 15, Priest.
Priest.
First. I'm more inclined to pick Priest.
All right.
Who you got?
Pick Priest.
I'll go with Gregson because he's actually pulled out a couple top tens on road courses.
That one could either way, but I'll go with Priest.
Those are different. They're road courses.
Yeah. Number 26, Hocevar versus number 23, Tyler Reddick.
Reddick's kind of been on that downward spiral this year too with Bubba.
Yeah, and he was in the 20s at the last road course. So road course once again.
I think just because it's a street course, give me Reddick. I really no. Give me Reddick for. I think I will take
right.
That. I will.
I guess I'll throw my hat in with Hocevar.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same.
Just not thinking that he's that great there, but
yeah. Reddick's been missing something besides this past week. So me too. All right, this is a good matchup, I think. Number 22, AJ Allmendinger versus number 6, Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, that is. That's a real good one. I think Gibbs because AJ just hadn't been performing as well as I thought he should have.
I don't think even his road course stats have not been reflecting his ability recently. They're missing speed, I think.
Yeah.
And they've had mechanical issues. And
I mean, we know he can get the job done, but I just don't think the car's there for him.
Yep. So I'm going Gibbs.
Well, I'm going to be different. Give me Allmendinger.
All right.
I'm going to be different.
If the cars were even, I would say Allmendinger.
Yeah.
But I think they're missing something.
Well, I'm going to take Allmendinger anyways.
Okay. Number 14, Zane Smith versus number 3, Chris Buescher.
Definitely Buescher.
Yeah, same here. All right, so we'll see how that turns out next week.
I'll get 50-50 again.
Yeah.
No.
And
it don't really matter what people go now, does it? I wonder what they're going to do about that. That's why I said at the beginning of this thing when I found out how they were doing that, I thought maybe NASCAR should have let people throw their name in a hat and took 10 people and put it with each driver and give them $100,000 a piece so you'd be guaranteed somebody to get something.
They're still giving whoever has the most points some money, but nothing like $1 million.
Million's gone now?
Yeah. All right, moving in.
Well, Austin, I don't think that's going to be you or I.
No, probably not. Moving into Chicago, a little bit of news. We're going to have 41 cars, so somebody will get sent home this week. Notables that I took, we're going to have Austin Hill starting and Corey Heim. The others are people like Bullocky, Legg, Will Brown. So I guess we'll see somebody sent home. I haven't heard any update on whether 2311's retaining their charters right now because this is exactly what they were worried about coming to Chicago, losing them charters and something happens and they don't get to qualify for this race.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's still a possibility or not. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. I know that's a big Kenny had a thing on that this morning. It's a pretty big pissing match between the two of NASCAR and 2311 in front row.
Yep.
You do know that now that did you see it where he said that now NASCAR wants all the teams to open their books where they can look at all of them and see what their P&L statement is basically?
Yeah, I saw something about it.
Yeah, this is getting too dirty. They need to work this out.
Yeah, like the judge says, he's amazed at how much they're willing to burn each other down, but he's the fire marshal and he'll be here in December if they can't figure it out.
I mean, I know they've got their differences, but please, for the good of the sport, work it out.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all I got for the news. Let's get into a quick game, Frank.
Wait a minute now. We got to do some picks.
No, that's after.
That's next.
That's after the game? Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. Well, since Chase Elliott won this race this weekend, if I'm counting right, that makes 317 wins for Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, I know it's 3-something, so yeah.
Boy. That's pretty good. Well, there's been a lot of drivers to win races for Hendrick Motorsports, and this is probably going to be a tough one, but you might get some of them. They've got 4 drivers that only had 1 win for Hendrick Motorsports. Do you have any idea who any of them were?
Boy.
And I'll tell you tonight if you don't figure any of them out.
I think I'm gonna know them all, but not by guessing.
Yeah.
I need some hints.
Yeah.
One of them's got an IndyCar name.
Can we get? I need some good
One
hints.
of them's son's still racing right now
In NASCAR?
in NASCAR in the Cup
It
Series.
ain't Bill, is it?
Huh?
It
No,
ain't-
no.
Oh boy.
Is he racing?
We've
for
talked good
Hendrick?
about him 2 or 3 weeks recently and his team, Legacy.
Oh,
Nemechek?
yeah, Joe.
Joe Nemechek won 1 race for Hendricks.
Okay.
All right.
Y'all probably don't really know much about the rest of them, but I'm going to just go ahead and tell you who it was because this was a tough one. But since it was that many races for Hendricks, I want to throw this out there. Casey Mears was another one. I don't know if y'all even remember Casey Mears.
Yeah,
I was about to say Casey Kane. I knew it was Casey something, but
Jerry Nadeau, which is a driver
know
I
him.
really thought was going to do something, but it just never panned out. And Brian Vickers also,
Oh,
who I
Yeah,
thought was
he
going to
did
do
run for
something.
them,
All
too.
all those
Yeah.
ran just one race for Hendricks. And then you got some guys that won 90 something
Yeah, like
and 70 something.
80.
Yeah, or 80. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we failed, but
Yep.
maybe y'all did a little bit better.
That was a fairly tough one, but just with Chase's win, I wanted to say something about
Yeah.
Hendricks, and that's a lot of wins.
They're actually on
For
the
somebody that thought that they weren't even going to be able to last in NASCAR when he started, he was pretty much out.
yep.
If he hadn't
And then Bodine kind of helped in
won
some
that
other
one
things.
race,
Yep.
yeah. They're actually on the longest streak right now, or going for it. They've 26 races in a row of having a car in the top 5, I believe. How about another quick one? Y'all want to guess? Because we had a tie for the pole this past weekend between Logano and Barry. Y'all want to guess the last time that happened?
Has it?
It has.
It has happened.
Just
Okay.
throw out a
I
quick
have-
number. We don't.
Huh?
Just throw out a quick number.
In 92?
Connor, what you think?
87. I don't know.
2007 at Talladega.
I
Okay.
was off by
20 years.
20 years.
All right, but
We weren't even in the same century.
yeah. Let's do some quick picks for this week at the street course. Chicago. Mine are pretty short and simple. I got Ty Gibbs, Shane Giesberg, and Howie Bowman.
I got Shane, Bowman, and then Allmendinger.
Well, we're all real close then, because I got Shane, Ty Gibbs, but I think that Larson's going to turn his bad run around.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's been this week's edition of the Rookie Lap.
With a special shout out to Kenny Wallace.
Yes.
Kenny, we all want to
Thank
thank
you,
you for what
Kenny.
you did.
Yep. Come on the show. Say
Yep.
hello.
And
Drink coffee
hopefully
with me.
we didn't make you too mad about some of these takes. And if we did, let us know in the comments. Make sure to like, share, comment, again, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Coming to the Checkers, and there. Good job. You only pissed off 87 other drivers, 912 fans, and set the sport back another 53 years. Just pay the $20,000 fine, and we'll try it again next week.